Welcome to Sister, a special series from Brooklyn Peace Center's podcast, Teaching Peace. I'm your host, Zipporah, a student at Bard High School for Early College in Brooklyn. I care deeply about justice, human rights, and creating space for young people, especially young women like myself, to lead and make real change. In each episode, I talk with women from communities impacted by war, displacement, and genocide. We center their stories, their resilience, their leadership, and their work to heal and transform the world around them. Thanks for listening. Before we welcome our special guest, Onyx Myanda Nyringabo, let's take a moment to talk about the ongoing crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC. The DRC is a country of immense beauty and resilience, but for decades, it's also been marked by conflict, displacement, and exploitation, much of it driven by global demand for resources like cobalt and coltan, used in smartphones, laptops, and electric vehicles. Many of us rely on every day. To understand this crisis, we have to go back to colonization. Under brutal Belgian rule, millions of Congolese were enslaved and killed in one of history's most violent colonial regimes. That legacy of extraction and exploitation continues today, as armed groups, often backed by foreign interests, fight for control over land and minerals. Since the 1990s, millions have died from war, hunger, and disease. More than 6 million people are currently displaced. What does it mean that our everyday tech is connected to someone else's suffering? And what might justice and solidarity truly look like? What makes this even more heartbreaking is how little global attention the crisis receives. But young people around the world, including right here at Sister, are saying no more. We believe it's time to shed a light on Congo, amplify the voices of those working for peace, and explore how each of us can be a part of the solution. And that's why we are so honored to introduce our guest today, Onyx Myanda Nyringabo, a peacemaker, activist, poet, and powerful voice for justice, who's been raising awareness about the Congo and inspiring others to take action. She recently graduated with a Master of Arts in Conflict Transformation from Eastern Mennonite University, where she studied the root causes of violence and developed tools for healing, justice, and reconciliation. Born and raised in the DRC, Onyx brings both lived experience and deep academic insight to her work. Today, she joins Sister to share her journey, help us better understand what's happening in Congo, and invite us into the sacred work of solidarity. Onyx, thanks so much for joining us.
You are welcome.
Before we dive into your story, let's start with a few quick-fire questions, just to break the ice and get to know you a little better. Okay, first one. What is your go-to song when you need a confidence boost?
That's a good question. I'm not bringing up my Christian stuff, but I always listen to the gospel music and depend on the situation or circumstances. So each situation or each circumstances has its own mood, but also sound. That's how I usually go with gospel music because they give me hope and strength.
I love gospel music as well, especially the song Break Every Chain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love gospel music too. I feel like it's so deep.
It is, yeah.
I like to listen to a lot of 2010s music, a lot of 2010s pop music.
Interesting.
If you could wake up tomorrow fluent in any language, what language would it be?
I was thinking, I like French. Yeah, but not like really strong. But I was thinking about one of those old languages, like Amharic.
Wow, that's a really good answer.
Amharic is one of those really old languages in the world.
That's so powerful. A lot of people don't know, but there's like thousands of languages on planet Earth.
In the DRC itself, we have more than 200 languages.
Wow.
I can call them dialects. So we do have a lot of languages in DRC.
Can you speak any?
I can speak Swahili.
Oh, Swahili.
It's like habari, that's hello, habari,
Habari.
uzuri. I can speak French, bonjour, comment tu vas, je vais
Wow.
bien. I can speak Yoruba Lingala, Mbote.
Wow.
I can
Bonjour.
I can speak my mother tongue, which is the Chiluba, like bish, bimpa.
If I could speak any language, I would probably choose Mandarin
Why?
because over a billion people speak Mandarin, and I'd love to be able to talk to over a billion people and communicate more peace ideas.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into your story.
Oh.
I love hearing about the little things that bring people joy. Go a little bit deeper. Tell us about your journey as a Congolese woman and as a peacemaker. Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and the story that brought you into peace work?
As you said at the beginning, my name is Onyx Myanda, and I am from Congo, DRC, specifically in the East, Goma. I was born in Goma, raised in Goma, and now I am located in the United States. The story behind my journey is when I was in Goma, after my high school, I have a dream to be a doctor. I had two choices. Like, if I'm not a doctor, so I have to work in the medical field. That was my dream career. And then when I finished high school, there were a lot of stuff like medical school is really expensive, but you have to find another alternatives. I don't have any other alternative. I'm gonna try to help myself in the case where I have to find a job. While in the DRC, finding a job, it's not easy. It's really difficult for young folk to find a job. Then I went to take a training to be a teacher. It took me like 4 months. And then I got that certificate to be a teacher. I went to a school. I applied there to be a teacher. I would be able to combine the job and school as being a student, full-time student and full-time. I will have a job full-time. And then I had those goals. I was like, I have to focus on my goals because I want this. Even I'm a girl, I don't want to just sitting here because medical school is really expensive. Then I'm not gonna do anything. So I'm able to do something. Then I went. I was a teacher in it was kindergarten, which was not really easy dealing with those small kids, like
I can
3 years
imagine.
old, 4 years old. I was like, okay, because I don't want to be a doctor, but I can do something else in the medical field, which was to be as a med tech, working in the medical laboratory, like collecting sample, doing some analysis. That was like, okay, I think it's most of it was like men who were doing that. I was like, why only men? Women also can do it. And then in our class, we were 5 girls and 10 boys in our class. So every morning I have to wake up around like 4 a.m., make sure all my siblings are ready to go to school. Then I will prepare myself. I will go to school as a teacher. I will teach there until 12 p.m. because my class was in the afternoon. And then I will go to the university for my medical studies. And then after that, I have to do my trainings. So I didn't have much time. That was my life for 5 years.
Yeah.
When I finished my undergrad, I was like, because back home we have to do it 5 years. We have the undergrad and 2 more years. It's not like a master, but it's something like license. And then when I finished my undergrad studies, then I stopped being a teacher. I went to work with an
Yeah.
NGO
Oh,
that
wait. It must have been very hard being a woman and pursuing a career in medicine. Or tell me
yes,
more about that and that struggle.
people think women are not really able to combine or to do many things. As a woman, you have to be determined. You have to know
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
want in life. If you're a woman, someone else is gonna do it for me, then you are losing the point. One thing that I discover, we are able to combine many things at the same time. And this is the example that I can take for like a mother. She can be in the kitchen while she's watching the kid, while she's doing the laundry. Here we have the washing machine, dry machine. Back home, we don't have that. We use our hands. So you are cooking, you are washing clothes, you are watching the kid, but also you have to make sure that your house is clean and you have to supervise everything by yourself. So women are able to do many things.
do so much, but hardly ever are they given the respect that they
they don't value. We are all human beings. You have to value someone's effort. You cannot just say, like, that's your responsibility. Yes, even men, that's your responsibility. So don't try to think like what you are doing is more important than what women are doing. Because if even that we try to switch, like men categories will be doing what women were doing, like as house chores, it's not gonna be easy on them. And I was like, it's just too much for women.
Women's job never really stops. It's like a man can go 9 to 5 and then they come home, but a women, they have to take care of the kids and then clean, and then go to studies and then go to work. So they never stop working, but women are hardly given the respect that they deserve. They deserve so much respect because you worked so hard for those 5 years. And that's really amazing. I commend you on that.
That was crazy. Even my friend was like, "Oh, girl, this is too much on you." And I was really young when I started doing that. I was like 19 years old, and then my dad was like, "For us, like, I'm just afraid. How can a girl, 19 years old, do all those stuff? Why men who are like 30, they are not able to do so?" And then when I finished my studies, my school, I graduated, and then I went working with an NGO. And then that NGO was supporting women that were victims of different violences. That NGO had a clinic, but also they had another part was like supporting women psychologically and try to train them how to be self-sufficient, even though the community or society was trying to reject them. So despite what I have as a medical experience, so I have to train these women in how to be self-sufficient. So I provide some trainings to those women. It's like, you are not alone in this journey, so we are together and we have to learn something that's gonna make you self-sufficient and try to reintegrate again those people in the society or in the community because they were victims of different kind of violences, be rejected by their families, some of them rejected by the community, by their husband, their family. So we have to work hard with those people to make sure that they reintegrate the community, but also to just try to put them in a position people can understand what happened to them, but also to make their families and husbands know they didn't do this by purpose. It just happened because most of them were women who were victims of sexual violences. It's like they didn't want this, it just happened. They were like, this is what I want to do. But if it could be a man, this was supposed to be the same thing. So they didn't have any choice, but we had to educate even the society, even those women, like, even though this happened to you, you're still a human being, you still have a choice, you still have you still have to live your life. So it was a long process. So at that time, I was interested in a class at TMU called STARS, a strategy for trauma awareness and resilience. Then I was like, I would like to learn more about this because despite the medical things that I'm doing here, I think these people need more than that. I can provide the medical support, but it's not going to be sufficient because these people need to be back in the community. And how to do that? You have to be a peace builder. How can I build peace between this person, between this woman and her husband, between this family and this woman, between the community or society with these people who were victims of sexual violences? That's how I switched from my medical studies to the peace builder. So it was so amazing.
Such deep work.
I'm trying to connect with my policy in the Goma, but unfortunately, the fact that there was a civil war that happened recently and the city itself is under rebels groups, it's hard for me to connect with those people because the current situation is really, really bad in the country.
Tell me more about that.
There is a group called the M23. The M23 is a rebel groups that they occupied those areas where we have a lot of minerals. And they are there not like legally, they just want to steal and go. And then I think there should be like agreement between those rebels and the government. We don't know what happened, but there is a long, long story behind those rebels group. But most of them are located in the east side of the country. The west side of the country, they don't have anything. They have something, like they have some minerals, but most of it is located in the east. We have a lot of war in those areas, and innocent people are dying. Why you can ask me, do you know the color of the cobalt? I don't know. I've never seen it. If you ask me a color of any minerals that we have in Goma, like not in Goma, in the east side, I don't have an idea. I've never seen it. But innocent people are getting killed because of that, while the other people are trying to steal, kill innocent people just to take the minerals. But it's a tough spot where people, specifically women, because these people, they're not coming only to steal the minerals, but like their presence in the city is destroying the city, and the women don't feel safe with them because anytime they can be raped, and then once they are like facing this kind of situation, they will be rejected by their community and their families and husband, whatever. So it's having an impact on their mental health. But one thing that I love with my people, they are really resilient. So you can feel that resilience in those people, no matter what they are going through. But tomorrow morning, they will wake up and go and look for something for their family. No matter what they are going through, they're trying to take care of themselves. Because I have a family, I have this, so I have to take care of it. If I'm not doing my job, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, nobody's gonna do it for me. So they are really resilient, and sometimes they kind of have to find a way how to live a happy life.
It's so true. And I feel like us as Black women, resilience isn't an option. It's a thing that we have to have, and it's a thing that we're born into, because Black women are some of the most targeted people and have the highest rates of sexual assault across the world.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like resiliency isn't an option for us. It's just a thing that we have.
Of course,
We're forced to have, especially young ones.
So, it's a sad story with my country right now. I had this when I was talking to my family, because when they started again in January, one thing that I like right now, the social media, they are aware of what is going on in the East, even though they don't have all the images. But I can feel like, okay, now everyone is aware of what is going on in the DRC. But before that, it was not the case. I was like, how come these people don't know what is going on in this country? But one thing is, when those rebels take over, they shut down all communication. So if it's Wi-Fi, they're going to shut it down. Kind of like network is helping to connect or to communicate with the outside folks. It's not going to work. The same day they took the city, they're going to shut down everything. And if there is something crazy that is going on in the city, that affect the internet is not going to work until the time, so it's not going to go away 100%, but until the time they feel like, I think now it's a good time to bring back the internet, which is crazy. And right now, I can see like it's all over the world that everyone knows what is going on there. I was like, okay, let's try to do something, how we can advocate for these people. I can see a lot of movement, some protests, specifically in Europe. It's really tangible. It's like I saw many pictures, many people were protesting about what is going on in the east side of the DRC, but also the fact that the country itself, I know and I understand the weakness of the country. There is a high level of corruption. And then so the population, as like I'm talking about me as like an individual from that area, we don't know if we are fighting against the government or if we are fighting against the rebels. Because sometimes you might feel like even the government is involved. Some people from the government, they're involved in those kind of like war. We don't really know who is behind what. But people really are dying. People are really dying. So as animals or insects, I can say animals, they don't value the life of a human being. And one thing that is shocked is they can pay someone $5 to go kill someone. Like, here's a $5, go and kill that person. That person will go without fear and then kill for $5. People are losing the sense of a human being, so they don't value a human being.
The humanity is going.
So it's like, we are not animals, we are not insects. So right, people are acting like evil. People are really evil in some area. And I've seen a lot in Goma. I've seen a lot. When I was in the medical, I was like working in the hospital. I've seen a lot. We were in a situation that was like in 2018, some stuff like that, 2018, 19, where we had this killing where they're gonna cut a person in pieces, they're gonna cut your hand, they're gonna cut your arms, they're gonna cut you in pieces and then put you as like a merchandise. I was like, how come this can happen to human beings? So that happened in Goma. I've seen pictures, but also we're treating some people that escape from those kind of violences. Like, hey, they cut my hand. I was like, oh. So it was really traumatizing. We need to help it as much as we can, but also how to build peace. Because it's not only about the politician or the rebels, but also there is generated some conflict in the east side of the country, but also talking about the country in general. We have many things that is happening locally, but we have other things that is happening politically, but we have other things that is happening globally. So at all those levels, we have something that is happening and it's destroying the country itself.
What does peace mean to you personally as a Congolese woman and a peacemaker and global citizen?
Peace means to me like I'm living in a safe area, like safety. That's peace for me. Some people will say peace is only when I have money in my bank account. Then that's how I can define peace. So everyone in the world, and if I can talk about people in Goma, peace, everyone can define peace here however they want.
I think for a lot of people, peace is safety. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face growing up in the DRC when it comes to peace and security?
When it comes to peace, the big challenge is to know with whom you are dealing with. Sometimes you will feel like you are dealing with the right person, but it's not the right person, even though it's your neighbor. The big challenge is how to build trust first before anything else. Is trust. Even when you are like talking to a patient, like you are in the hospital, that patient needs to trust you. Because when I was treating those women who were victims of sexual violences, you have to create a room where they will open themselves. And for them to open themselves, they have to trust you. If they don't trust you, they're not going to tell you anything. And when you don't have all the information, you're not going to be able to treat them. So you have to build trust between you and the patient. And then once the patient is ready and comfortable to open themselves up, then you will know what's wrong and how you can lead your treatment. It's not only in the community as a peace builder, but anywhere. If you want to do something, you have to know what is the issue. And there are strategies to solve that issue. So building trust was the most important thing to do, but it was really a big challenge because of the situation of the country. The country is already corrupt. What's gonna make us trusting her? No, I'm not gonna trust her. So it takes usually time for you to build that room, or that the fact that people can trust you, and then you can be involved in what you are planning to do with them. But also if you wanna move or you have some other ideas, so people can try to come step by step and say, oh, okay, we needed that. I think we need those kind of information. So you were supposed to explain us like this, A, B, C, D, so that we will understand. But if you come if you don't know the context, it might be really hard for those people to trust you. They might come to you. If you have money, they might come to you and say, oh, that person has money. They've just come to take your money, not to work with you as a peace builder. I know in every situation, if you want to do something, money is like involved, but you have to make sure that you create that kind of connection relationship that those people can trust you and you can trust those people. So that is a big challenge. When I was taking care of my client or patient, it was just to make them understand why they were there. Like, why are you here? You're not just here to look at me, no. Why am I here? I'm not just here to listen to your story, no. I'm here because I need you and because you need me. So we need each other. If you're not opening up, I'm not going to be able to treat you. But also you have to make sure that you know where they come from and what they have been through. It's okay, I know and I understand. It may be hard for you to open it up, but if there is someone else with whom you feel like you are more comfortable, I can go and bring another person here. If you don't tell us anything, we cannot help you. We don't know
Yeah.
what to do. So you have
And
to
I
open up so that we can be able to help you.
And I know it can be really hard for people opening up about sexual assault. A lot of times when you open up about sexual assault, people don't always respond positively. Sometimes they
No.
blame it on you. Sometimes they ask you, what were you doing? Sometimes they get defensive. Sometimes they attack you. Sometimes they abandon you. Sometimes they straight out don't believe you when you tell them what happened. And I know that happens to like a lot of people. So I totally understand feeling like you can't tell someone, even if it's a professional like yourself, because of like the society and the social conditioning that we live in that like tells women that they're always the problem, even when they're not. You know, it's always what were you doing?
That's correct. As when you understand your people, your community, so before them, there are some people that you treated and it's like, hey, she is or he's a good person. You can just go to her, try to explain what is going on. They're going to help you. So for women, it's not really easy, specifically for those who have been exposed to sexual violences. It's hard, really hard. And even the time we want to touch them, don't do that. Don't even try. So before you do anything else, make sure that they are ready psychologically, they are ready physically, they are ready emotionally, and you just make a room. Most of them, if you have to create a room where the person will feel more comfortable. And those people, they don't ask for something really difficult. But I think one of the most things that I was doing was to be a good listener. Just listen to their story. Listen, they might go right, they might go left. Just give them time. At the end of the day, they're gonna open up and try to frame your question. Not like being curious, but what about this? What do you think about this? Then you have to find a way how to frame your question that will make them like, hey, this is the problem, I know. But also don't have to be aggressive. If they don't answer you, you're like, it's fine, it's okay. At the end of the day, they will end up, I think I'm ready now to talk.
When they talk, is it hard getting justice for them and legal procedures for assault in Congo? Because I know in Europe and in the States here, it can also be so hard for people to find justice in the legal systems when it comes to sexual assault.
It's really hard, specifically for those who, most of them, they were coming from the countryside, just coming to the city for treatment and other training. It was hard to find something legal that could help them because we didn't know, we didn't meet the people that did all those crazy stuff. We didn't know. And the sad part was when it was not only grown up person, but when it was going even for the 2 years old baby. I was like, what were you doing to the 2 years old baby? She's a baby. So it was unbelievable. And to find those people, like, where are you going to find them? They just left. We don't know who they were. And it's not only one person. Somebody was like, no, it was not only one person. It was more than that, like 5 or 6. I was like, for real? And I was like, yeah, it was a lot. And it's hard to find those person. So the only thing is like to make sure that we cannot provide a safe place for all those women at once because we didn't have those capacities. But we have to provide like a training, a way. It was like, okay, this is what we can afford after the medical treatment. This is what we can afford so that you can be self-sufficient. If they didn't know how to read and write, if they need to learn some skills, so we were really open to teach them some skills. This is how you can proceed. This is what you can do. This is how you can study, and try to have to train them in different way to make sure that we are just doing our part and make sure that they are okay with that. So
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's so important for women to be educated and women to be able to be self-sufficient for themselves and to take care of themselves financially too, so they're not reliant
they are
on other
independent.
people. In your country of Congo, how would you go about solving the political and economic instability in Congo?
That's a good question.
In an ideal world, if you had
I just-
limited resources.
I think if you can find people who are really conscious, this is my job first. I'm here to advocate for these people. This is my work. And it's hard. It was like, can people try to reduce or to stop corruption? It's somehow impossible to stop corruption, but the level of corruption is really high in each level. One of the things like to find those people who are, our goal is to help this country. Our goal is to help and develop this country, which is hard to find those kind of people because it looks like everyone who wants to work in the government or to be a politician, they are not going there just to help the society or the country. They are going there just to help themselves, to make themselves rich. And those people, they have a lot of money. They are doing crazy stuff. They're not doing anything. And one thing is, if we find people, Congolese youth, specifically the youth, because I'm talking about the next generation, who know the value of education. This is my country. I want to serve my country. Then they will know corruption exists. I have
love their
to
country,
fight.
patriotic.
And yes, I have to fight and work for my country. We need those kind of people, not just come, eat, take whatever I want to take, and then maybe go. Just need people like they really love the country. It's like we are really we are ready to fight for the country. We need those kind of people. But also another challenge or another struggle where for those who want to help the country, develop the country, they will be killed. Just they try to raise their heads as like, hey, here I am. I'm going to fight for this country. They're going to kill him immediately. We have the story of these guys when the M23 took the city of Goma. It was in 2012. I was in Goma, and then there was a guy, his name was Mamadou. So he was a soldier. It was in January, I think, again. Yeah, it was the beginning of January. So he was someone who loved the country. And then the issue was every time where our army, the Congolese army, won the fight, or they're like, those M23 or those rebels, they were like beaten, then the president will call a ceasefire, which means stop fighting. The time that we stop the fight, the rebels will come back again. So that guy, his name was Mamadou. He was like, I'm not gonna listen to what the president will say or the government because they don't know what is going on in the field. So that guy fought for this like crazy, and they won, but he was killed after that. Like he didn't listen to what the government was saying to him. He didn't respect the ceasefire. He was killed. So was someone that loved the country. Was like, this person understands. So he understands what is important for this nation. But he was killed by his own nation. So we don't know who is who, but we have hope that one day the Congo will change. One day we will look back. We made it to here. We made it. And we are looking for that kind of generation. The leadership starts when you're still young.
What are some peace building practices in the DRC that you think that the world should know about?
Most of the youth, they come together as like how to build peace or how to build trust first, because they have to start with trust. You will see a lot of young folks come together. They have some meetings. It's like, what do you think about the future? Or what do you think peace look like? What do you think justice look like? Specifically justice, because there is no justice in there. People are really focused more on justice. What does justice look like? What do you mean by justice? They have to know, they have to understand. So they're kind of like training each other. This is justice. You have to be fair. It's like, this is what is supposed to be, no matter what. People are trying to work together. Actually, we have one friend who was a victim of some robbers that came when the M23 took the city. All those people were in the prison, escaped the prison, and now they're in the city with the arms, so they have everything, all those weapons. The population itself, they're like facing hard time because they cannot control it. Those people who were in the prison, they're like coming back, and then like rob, like during the night they will bang, push open your door. Sometimes they will kill. Sometimes they're like, hey, give us your money. They are killing people and they are raping women. There was those group of youth that's like, let's come together and fight against this injustice. And then it was a group of young folks that came together. If those robbers comes to your house, just send us a signal or just ring something in the house and then we will come fight together. They had that strategies, and then those bandits, they knew about those strategies. And then when those young folk came, when the robber came to steal, then that person rang the bell. It's like, hey, they are here. The young folks came to fight against those robbers. Then those robbers, because they have guns, they start shooting them like animals. I was like, oh my goodness. And then he got shot here in his shoulder, but he's fine. He's one of our friends who was victim of that event back home. The youth was like, the only thing we can do to protect our family, to protect our community, is just to get together and fight against this injustice, and these people are coming to steal from the community.
Do you think Congo would benefit from just like completely new government?
I'm not really sure because they don't know what is going on there. They were in the west side of the country while all these problems are located in the east. They don't know anything about the east. I'm really sure that they don't know what is going on because even people who lives in the west side, they don't know what is going on in the east. So it's kind of like two different countries in one country. They might be coming or they will go there for their own interests, not to have the country. They will not be going there because they want to have the country, because they found something important that they can take from the country. I don't know much about diplomacy, but I'm not really sure that they can do something. I know there is a way out from anything. They can do something. They're not going there only because they want to help. They are going there because they have their own interests first.
What advice would you give to young girls in conflicted areas facing genocide, as in the Democratic Republic of Congo, who want to become leaders?
They need to be educated. And specifically for those girls who think they can get anything easily, I think they need to understand if you want something, you have to work hard. Don't just be there, spend the whole night in your bed, and then tomorrow morning you wake up, you're going to have the iPhone 16. We know those kind of people, they don't work. But for those who want to be leaders, your body is not going to define who you will be tomorrow. In a position of leadership, people need to be educated. Knowledge is a key. If you want to be in a position of leadership, knowledge is everything.
How can young people support these movements?
Those who have never been exposed to some situation, it's going to be hard for them to be involved. But for those who have been exposed, they have an idea of what they're trying to do, but also for those people who are not only focused on what they have around them, but they're trying to learn and to have different perspectives. You will see some folks, they just know, I'm going to leave my house and then go in my car, go to school, or the bus going to come, pick me up from there and then take me to school. There are some folks that are like that. Others, like for me, was not the case, was woke up in the morning, do my get ready, my siblings, they go to school, I will go to school, walking, no bus, no anything. So for people who understand, who have different perspective of life, but also people who have been exposed to different situations, they might have a big picture. Like, I think in this area, if you would try to go this way, if you would try this strategy, can work. So it depends on how people have been exposed to be able to do something which is not in their comfort zone.
I agree so much. I think that internationally, like going off the lines of like sister, I believe that it would be amazing if there was a political party, maybe called sister, and its main core value was to be for peace and against genocide. And people around the world, when they go to voting booths, when they turn 18, they could vote for a party, then they could vote for sister, or vote through sister. So they're saying that I believe in a world that doesn't have genocide, and therefore they're impacting their government, and then they're pushing their government towards a world that has no genocide. And I think that young people in each country should try to vote for peace, or vote through, or vote for like an international political party that is for peace and stand for peace.
That's really good. As I said at the beginning, if you don't have the right people in the room, then it'd be hard for them to understand what you're trying to achieve. Everyone has their own perspective, their own strategies, but do they have the right understanding of the issue? Or they just want it for themselves, but what about others? So there is not you without others. There is not others without you.
If you could speak to the youth directly about peace and justice and human dignity and feminism and womanism, what would you say?
Everything starts where you are. You are the beginning of everything. In your room, in your bedroom, in your household. If you want to go somewhere, try to start where you are, and not to be focused on what you think that should be, but what do other people think about what you're thinking should be.
That's very powerful. What gives you hope personally in your life?
My hope is that one day the country or the city of Goma can be a safe place. That was the big hope for many people back home. They just want safety. They want to be in peace.
What does sisterhood mean to you, and how has it shown up in your life?
The sisterhood, it depends on where you are located. Here in America, I don't have enough experience, but not like everyone, that individualism, it's really present.
Here.
Like the way I grew up, with the place I grew up, it was like me and my sister were best friends. We were really best friends, and your sister means a lot to you. It's your blood. it's your sister, and we share different ideas. We were really open to each other. It's like, hey, I have this story, I have this that is going on in my life. What do you think? Do you have an idea? Have you been exposed to this kind of stuff? Or what are your thoughts? Or what do you think about this? Not just to be, it's mine. I know what I'm doing. I know sometimes it happened, but with my sister, it was something else. She was my best friend. And when you try to open up to your sister, someone can give you another perspective of life, of friendship. I can trust my sister. Sisterhood is really important. It's a magical thing.
And finally, what is a quote or what is something someone told you that helped bring more peace into your life?
There is this proverb that said, Ubuntu, I am because you are.
Wow.
And it's vice versa, which is really important. I'm here because you are, and you are there because I am. So don't expect the peace to come from the outside. The peace should start by yourself. Try to create the environment of peace around you or inside of you. Then once you feel like you are really ready, then you can go now out to expand that peace. If you're not ready yet as a person, as an individual, don't even try to do that because it's going to work against you. It takes time. Just try to work on yourself first. Don't try to solve others' issues while you still have issues. Try to fix yours, then go out and use the way that you solved your issue as a strategy. I've been through this. This is what I did, and it was really helpful. I don't want you to copy and paste what I did, but this can be a strategy that you can have on your list so that it can help you to solve what you are going through.
It's really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
For me, I would say a quote or mantra that keeps me going would be, I think I really like the quote, I'm rooted but I flow, by Virginia Woolf. She was a feminist, I believe in the 18 or 1900. And I really think that's very powerful to be rooted and to be strong in who you are, but still adaptable to your surroundings around you.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
Thank you so much for being on here.
Yeah,
Onyx.
thank you.
We're so honored to have you and to have you share.
Yeah,
your story.
thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Sister Sister, a special series of the Teaching Peace podcast. These conversations remind us that peace is a practice and a shared responsibility. And if today's episode moves you, take a moment to reflect, share it with someone, and take action in whatever way you can. And if you made it to the end, thank you. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and share the podcast with your people. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep building peace.